US market looks like it's recovering, so that might be good. Yesterday it was horrible. US market sold off, so obviously that I think had a little bit to do with the volatility yesterday, but we'll see today. US market is opening up good. But the big news, of course, from yesterday was this. The SEC approved Ethereum spot ETFs. Okay, this is monumental. First time in history. Just like Bitcoin ETFs. We had Bitcoin futures-based ETFs, not spot. And this is spot. Okay, so the SEC did approve creation of Ethereum spot ETFs. Now, that does not mean that the spot ETFs are already out. There's 8 fund makers that are updating their S1s and trying to get their funds approved, right? But overall, the SEC basically said, yes, we're going to allow it, right? Just come to us with your applications. That's basically what it means, which is a good thing. Okay, it's a very, very good thing. And because of it, we may see the actual Ethereum spot ETFs getting traded as early as next month. I remember when it came to Bitcoin ETFs, after approval, it was about, I think it was about a month. About a month. Maybe it was sooner. I just remember Bitcoin spot ETFs somehow got rushed out really, really quickly. But it may be the case with Ethereum spot ETFs. So just know that even though approval happened, there are none being traded right now. Okay, so there's not a whole lot of buying pressure from Wall Street right now, but it will come. It will come for sure. So a lot of people forgot that after Bitcoin spot ETF was approved, okay, you see what happened with Bitcoin. Bitcoin trended upwards until approval, and then it actually went down. It went down for almost an entire month. Do any of you guys remember that? Yeah. After approval for Bitcoin spot ETF, Bitcoin actually trended down for about a month. And then it never looked back. Okay, that's when we dropped into the 30s. From the mid 40s, we dropped to the 30s. And then afterwards, when the buying pressure came in from Wall Street, that's when we never looked back and we hit all the way. We hit 73,000, right? We broke through a previous high and kept going. So it could be the same thing for Ethereum spot ETFs. Right now, of course, not traded yet, but once it starts trading, right, we could see the same pattern happens over the next course of the next month. We could see downward movement, or maybe we just see sideways movement. But once Wall Street starts buying, there's no doubt it's going to go higher, right? Where is Ethereum going to be by the end of the year? There have been some predictions that it could be as high as 8,000 or even higher than that by the end of this year, right? So you just have to give it a little time, okay? Just a little time. Nothing pumps immediately all the time forever. But those of you guys that have Ethereum, you should be very happy. Ethereum was what? Down here. It was at the 3,000 level forever, basically. And now you're 20% higher, more than 20% higher. So anyone with Ethereum should not be complaining at this point in time. Okay, overall, after this big 20+% pump, it's still holding. It's just going sideways. So it's just a matter of time before it moves. And how this relates to Bitcoin is, you know, when Ethereum starts pumping from the ETFs, that means more liquidity in the space. And a lot of that will go, of course, into Ethereum, but a lot of it will flow out also into others like Bitcoin and other alts in the space. That will happen. Now, couple other things relating to this. Number one is, in terms of these fund makers, they are getting their tickers ready. Like, for example, BlackRock's is going to be ETH-A, and Van Eyck's is ETH-V, and there's a whole bunch, right? So it does seem like progress is already happening, and who knows? We may get them soon, within the next month, right? That would be in June. So my prediction of 100,000 Bitcoin by July could still happen. Could still happen, right? It's just around the corner. The SEC basically just officially declared that Ethereum is a commodity. So this question of whether or not Ethereum is a security or commodity, whether the SEC is going to sue the Ethereum Foundation or whatever other developers or dApps riding on top of Ethereum, seems like they have gone away. Seems like they have just basically said, okay, we're not going to do that. We recognize them as a commodity. Otherwise, they would not be allowing this. Otherwise, they would have just delayed the applications or simply denied the applications. But yeah, it pretty much means that Ethereum is a commodity. And that's good for many reasons, because if Ethereum is deemed a commodity, right, then that means there are many, many, many other alts out there that kind of have followed in Ethereum's footsteps. They are all commodities now, right? So this is actually pretty big. You could argue that this decision may have been bigger than just allowing the ETFs themselves. The decision of declaring Ethereum a commodity, because that has huge ramifications for every other coin that's in this space, really. Not every single one, but a lot of them, because a lot of them went through the same thing that Ethereum did, right? So that's actually really big if you think about it. Really, really, really big. As for Bitcoin and its ETFs, well, continues to see inflows. See, this is what's deceiving. Even though there are days where we get volatility and Bitcoin may go down, but these big boys, yes, I call them big boys, the whales and the institutions and banks and companies around the world, they keep on buying. BlackRock saw a huge 89 million inflow yesterday, despite the fact that Bitcoin did go down. Okay, now they hold over 19 billion in Bitcoin, and overall yesterday was a positive net flow of 108 million. You would not think so, because Bitcoin did start the day at 70, and we had some kind of whale that dropped Bitcoin down, right at market open. Someone that anticipated that Ethereum ETFs were not going to get approved. But we still had a massive inflow day of over 100 million. Just think about it. For the entire week, we're closing in at another, if I had to guess, probably 500 to 700 million of Bitcoin into the ETF. I mean, again, you're talking about hundreds of millions to billions every single week. Do you not see how Bitcoin is going to go higher, right? Demand is coming in every single week or every single day, massive demand, and supply is not getting any more plentiful. There are no more new Bitcoin being created out of thin air, well, other than the inflation rate, but we saw that already get halved with the halving event. But Bitcoin is not an asset that can be duplicated or multiplied or created out of thin air like fiat. Okay, it's scarce. So when you have this much of buying pressure, the price will catch up. It definitely will. And I think it could be the same thing for Ethereum. Once we start seeing hundreds of millions flow into Ethereum, we could see the same thing happen.